We all know that the weapon crafting bug is in full force in pretty much every activity across the board in Destiny 2, and at the time of this recording, Bungie said it should be patched in the next couple hours. But that's not what I want to talk about for this video. I was actually messing around with the tessellation in PvP, just checking damage numbers, testing out, see how good it is, and actually came up with a pretty solid Strand Hunter build across the board that's going to allow for pretty much ability abuse on top of being able to save on your armor mods. Let's not waste any time and dive right into it. So the way you get your hands on this exotic right now is that you have to pre-order the final shape. If you don't pre-order, again, you can always wait till final shape comes out, then you can get your hands on the weapon. But let's run through the perks. We have property undecidable. This weapon instrument topology adapts its damage type to match your equipped subclass. Final blows grant grenade energy. So note, this is in the secondary slot. And so since we're on the Strand subclass, it's going to translate to a Strand weapon. And again, it's going to be the same thing with every other subclass here. For the other perks, we have polygonal rifling for stability, projectile use for range, and then we have composite stock. And then it's trait perk property irreducible. So this is based on if you have your grenade and you hold the reload button, it consumes your grenade to load a large projectile shaped language that generates an elemental explosion on impact. Pretty much the best way I can equate this is that it's pretty much like a Jotun shot. It just doesn't track, and it does pretty good damage. Now for the exotic armor piece that I'm using, I'm taking advantage of the 6 Coyote. This is what it looks like normally. It actually has a pretty sweet ornament, but I wanted to make it look like this for this build in particular. That's not the big thing. The big thing is the perk, which is double dodge. You gain a second dodge charge. Again, if you're like, hey David, I don't have 6 Coyote, I don't want to use this in the Crucible, that's totally fine. There are plenty of other exotics you can use. Knucklehead Radar is really good right now. Obviously Stompies is a classic, the Dragon Shadow. There's plenty other PvP based exotics, but there's a reason I am using the 6 Coyote. Under the Threadrunner Strand subclass, for our abilities, I'm taking advantage of Gambler's Dodge. When I dodge near target, I can get my melee back, which is the Threaded Spike. Again, this can sever targets. For our movement, I have the Strafe Jump, but you can use what you like. And then for the grenade, I'm opting for the Grapple. For our first aspect, I'm using Widow's Silk. You have an additional grenade charge, and your grappling hook creates a grapple tangle at the grapple point. For the second aspect, I'm taking advantage of Threaded Spectre. Activating your class ability leaves behind a decoy woven of strand matter that draws the attention of nearby combatants. After taking significant damage or when combatants approach, the decoy detonates, dealing damage and releasing threadlings that seek out and attack nearby foes. The cool thing with this is that when you dodge, it actually leaves that Threaded Spectre and pings the enemy radar as well, so it can potentially throw them off. And having those threadlings go out and attack those opponents, again, can potentially increase your TTK with your weapons, abilities, whatever you're using. For Fragments, I'm opting for Thread of Generation. Dealing damage generates grenade energy. It's on -10 to Discipline. Again, the more we can have the grapple, the better in general. Next up, I'm taking advantage of Thread of Evolution. Threadlings travel farther and deal additional damage. It is a +10 to Intellect, so the threadlings that we create from the Spectre will basically be improved. Next, Thread of Warding. Picking up an Orb of Power grants Will of a Mail. It's a -10 to Resilience, but again, it is free damage resistance, and as long as you and your teammates are creating orbs, whether it's through like Siphon mods, Reaper, whatever, again, it's pretty much free damage resistance as long as you pick it up. And then lastly, I'm taking advantage of Thread of Ascent. Activating your grenade ability reloads your equipped weapon and grants bonus airborne effectiveness and handling for a short duration. It is a +10 to mobility. Next, let's go over the armor mods that I am using and how we're going to take advantage of these harmonic mods. Now, if you don't know what they do, they pretty much match whatever your subclass currently is. So if we're on the Strand subclass right now, again, this pretty much translates to the Strand targeting. So instead of it costing 3 like it normally would for Strand targeting, it only costs 2. And so we are rocking double harmonic targeting, which pretty much improves target acquisition, accuracy, and aim down sight speed for Strand weapons. And then lastly, I'm taking advantage of Powerful Friends. So when I collect an Orb of Power, it causes nearby allies to increase their armor charges as well. On the gauntlets here, I am rocking triple harmonic dexterity, faster weapon ready, and reload speed for Strand weapons, so it makes it pretty quick. If you did want to replace one of these with harmonic loader so you have the increased reload speed, that's totally fine. For the chest piece, I'm rocking triple unflinching harmonic aim, which reduces flinching from incoming fire while aiming from a Strand weapon. Again, this is going to be good for our primary and also the tessellation. On the boots here, I am rocking double Strand weapon surge. There is no harmonic weapon surge, unfortunately, so these do cost 3, but your Strand weapons gain a small bonus to damage while you have any armor charge. Your armor charge now decays over time. When you collect an Orb of Power, you gain an armor charge. Minimum, you can have 3. With any of the blue mods, they last 10 seconds. So if we have 3 Orbs of Power and we collect them, and we have 3 armor charges, that's 30 seconds of this bonus weapon damage for our Strand weapons. And again, these do stack. And then for the last one here, I am taking advantage of recuperation. So when I pick an Orb of Power, it replenishes my health. And last on the class item, I'm rocking double bomber. So when I use my class ability, when I use that dodge, I can have a reduction for my grapple. And then I am using Reaper. After using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an Orb of Power. For stats to focus on, there's one main one for PvP, and it's always recovery. Try to have tier 10 100 recovery. Basically increases the speed at which you regain lost health. So if you are weak and you get out of an engagement, you can get your shield back faster because, again, as we know, opponents are pretty aggressive in the Crucible. So being able to get out of an engagement, pretty much get your health almost all the way back, and then re-engage allows you to have a better chance of winning that gunfight. Again, a lot of people do like tier 8 resilience. People have done a lot of damage testing. Pretty much tier 8 is like the slowest TTK that opponent can have against you with optimal weapons and stuff like that. It's not absolutely necessary in my opinion. Again, I'm just using this build for 6s, so if you did or don't want to focus on resilience, that's up to you. I also like mobility. Again, mobility is actually tied to the dodge cooldown for the hunter. So the more mobility you have, the faster you can have that dodge back, which means the more specters you can put on the field. I also like discipline as well. Discipline is tied to the grenade stat, which means we can get our grapple back even faster, which we do want to take advantage of. And then lastly, intellect. Again, intellect is tied to your super. Having your super in PvP is huge, as we know. Now for weapon options, like we already talked about, we are using Tessellation, which translates to a strand weapon because of its perks. But what do you use for your primary and your heavy? For your heavy weapon, I don't care what you use. Use a GL, use a rocket launcher, use a machine gun, whatever you like to use, go for it. But for the primary, highly recommend a strand weapon, because again, with all these harmonic mods that we are using that translate to strand, again, we can pretty much save on those armor mod spaces that allow us to put, you know, pretty much high stat increases like tier 4 recovery and stuff like that as well. So again, I do have my Immortal here. Yes, kind of scummy, but the Immortal Tessellation combo is kind of hilarious, because one thing that you can do is consume the grenade, consume your first grapple up really high, use the Tessellation shot as like a mini rocket launcher, and then when you fall back down, use Immortal to clean up the opponents. Now, there are a lot of good strand weapons in general. Again, this season we do have the Kept Confidence, which can be crafted. Like mine right here, for example, has Quick Draw and Harmony. You can get Eye of the Storm in this slot as well. Again, from Crow to Zen, we have Fang of Virut. This is strand now. I have a rapid hit kill clip, high cal rounds, hammer forged with a ranged masterwork. This can be crafted, but your boy is hurting on the spoils right now. But that's okay. Basically, any good strand PvP weapon for your primary slot, I highly recommend for this build. Now, if you got through all that and you're still a little confused about how this build works in the Crucible, I'm going to break it down for you. There's always one thing with the Strand Hunter that is just super good compared to the Warlock and the Titan, is that its ability utility in the Crucible is just insanely good. Being able to have 2 grapples, number 1, is great. Being able to weaken a target and then hit them with the melee, the threaded spike, and hit multiple targets as well, it does a lot of damage. So if you get a target with like a little shield left and you throw your melee, it's going to kill him and also create a tangle, which you can throw. And the other fun thing with this build is that you have Tessellation on and mini rocket launcher, right? You can grapple up in the air, you know, hit some trick shots if you like. I'm not going to tell you not to. I attempted to. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But again, it does allow you the option to have that pretty much in-air mobility and throwing off your opponents. Obviously, Threaded Spectre does that as well. So when you dodge, it creates that Spectre. And if an enemy runs right into it, boom, there's 2 Threadlings on him. He's pretty much one-shot now after he gets hit by 2 of those Threadlings. And now you can finish him off, teammates finish him off, whatever. And every time you use the grapple, Thread of Ascent kicks in, basically reloading all your weapons, giving you increased airborne effectiveness and handling for that short duration. Any damage we do with Thread Generation gives us our grapple back even faster. Any Orbs of Power pickup give us Woven Mail, on top of having Strand Weapon Surge, plus with Powerful Friends, giving armor charges to everyone around us. And the armor mods are honestly just a bonus. With all of the harmonic mods we're taking advantage of, our strong weapons get pretty much all these passive bonuses. And obviously on the class item, when we use our dodge ability, Bomber kicks in, giving us our grapple back even faster. And Reaper's procs to the next weapon kill we get, spawns Orb of Power, again, redoing the cycle of armor charges. Essentially with this build, you want to take advantage of all the utility that you can. Double dodges, double grapples, a very strong melee, you know, being able to have the grapple back very quickly to take advantage of the Tessellation's high damage one-shot, pretty much mini rocket that you can use. It's a very fun build, and I highly recommend it. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is my Tessellation PvP Strand Hunter build. I'm actually going to put the dim link for this in the description, so if you can copy everything that I'm using down to the subclass, the armor mods, the weapons, even the drip, if you'd like. Some people are asking about shaders and whatnot in previous videos, so if you want to copy all that, again, that's going to be in that dim link. Test out for yourself and let me know what you guys think in the Crucible. Like I said, at the time of this recording, the weapon crafting bug is just out of control, so maybe wait until that is over to go into the Crucible and have fun with this. But again, is there something you like, something you don't like, you know, something under the subclass that you like taking advantage of more for this build? Again, I'm definitely willing to hear you out. I'm testing stuff out in this game all the time. In any event, if what you saw was valuable or entertaining, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then turn on the bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on another build video here on the channel. If you didn't know, we live stream here on YouTube and then also on Kick. That link will be in the description. Again, YouTube is mainly for Destiny 2 and Kick is for a little more variety content. So whenever we're doing Destiny 2 stuff, again, we'll be here on YouTube. We're doing PvE, PvP, dungeons, raids, Crota's End, raid helps, GM carries. We've been doing that, this past week recently with the Heist Battleground Europa. Again, if you want to hop in, again, just hop in the chat. We'll figure something out. And if you want to be proactive, join my Discord. Again, people are looking to play Destiny 2 together, but we are also talking about other games, PC tech, anime, and more. Lastly, if you want to help support the channel even more, you can look into becoming a member. If you don't know what a membership is essentially like a Twitch subscription. Again, you're going to get access to the exclusive emotes, the monthly badges, and other cool stuff here on the channel that you could take advantage on the live streams and in the comments. So, if you would like more information, all you have to do is press the join button next subscribe, and that'll give you a rundown with all the details you need. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy. We'll catch you in the next one.